All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Charting 101. This is lesson 3. This is the vwap indicator. It stands for volume weighted average price. Basically, it's a trading indicator that calculates the average price of a said stock over a specific period of time. And it's weighted by its volume. So let me put that on the chart again. You're going to go to indicators. You're going to type in VWAP right here. VWAP, volume weighted average price. Add that to your chart. I already added it. Now, one thing I will say is, hold on. Oh no, never mind. Okay, so it's going to be this blue line right here. Okay, so this is your VWAP. Now, what this is it's basically an extra layer of protection when you're scalping, especially on the 9 when you're using the 9 and the 21 EMA. Now you can use it for larger time frames, but this is mainly when you're scalp trading, making a quick trade, intraday trades, 10, 15-minute little trade. This is how I get my entries and how my exits. And on top of using the 9 and the 21 EMA, I use the VWAP. And as you can see here, look at that. We kind of have an extra layer of protection here. So what you could have done right here is, let's just say you were going long in the market, you were buying shares or you were buying calls. What you would do is, you see how this candle right here, let me zoom in a little more so you guys can see it really clearly. You see how this candle broke above the 9, it broke above the 21, and it broke above the VWAP, and then it closed above it. Okay, you see the body close above all three of them. So what you could have done is you could have gotten your entry, somewhere within that candle. Put your stop loss below in the wick of this candle right here, just to make sure, protect yourself, protect your gains, just for in case we go on the downside. And then, on this one right here, and if you see that, you see that this candle, this wick didn't go below that, so you wouldn't have gotten stopped out. You'd have gotten your entry, and then boom, we ran up. I mean, you figure that's a 410, 411 ish on this candle right here, and it went all the way up to 420. A $9-10 move, which is an insane move. So all the VWAP is it kind of shows like support, resistance, just kind of like the 9 and the 21 EMA would. When stocks are when a stock price is over the VWAP, just like how you can see right here, how it's over the VWAP, it's considered bullish, and when it's under like this, it's considered bearish. So yeah, so there's that. Let's see how much time I got. Sorry, I'm working with this software that records my videos, and it's kind of messed up on the time. Okay, so that's how that works. And again, like I said, it's just an extra layer of protection for when you're trading in the market and you're getting your setups. This is what I use all day long. I'm looking for my entries, I'm looking for my setups. And as soon as I see, I mean, this is a beautiful setup right here. I mean, I would have taken this trade. I mean, I didn't see it, I was looking at other stuff. But if I would have seen this right here, man, I would have taken my entry right here, and I would have rode that baby all the way up there. Okay. Now, again, what I taught you guys in lesson 1 about, support and resistance levels, especially if you're scalping like that, you want to find those levels. I mean, again, we can kind of identify here that there's, this would be considered the bottom. This would be considered like your support on the 5-minute chart, right here. Sorry. Sorry, I think I got something stuck in my throat. So we can identify that this would be like your support on the 5-minute chart. So I mean, if push comes to shove, let's just say we were to drop that hard, and we would have broken the 9 EMA, would have broken the 21 EMA. Your next support would be the VWAP, which would be about 415, 414 ish. If we would have held that, then you can take a position there to go long again. If we would have broken that, now we're looking, for a position to come all the way back down to test, this bottom support here. Okay. So, you got to use everything that I've taught you so far on how to get your entries, get your exits, and know how to be able to flip quick. Cause I mean, especially if you're scalping, it's going to be, sometimes these moves are violent. And, like I said, you can study these charts. Like I said, what I will say is, before you even trade, watch this stuff out for yourself, test it out for yourself. Don't go on a live account and put 10 grand on a play. Test this stuff out for yourself. And I mean, I can look at any ticker symbol and show you what I'm talking about. Okay, look, here's Amazon. Here's another one. Okay, we're on the 5-minute chart again. You can see, right, I can see the, I mean, first one that I see is this one right here. So what I could have done is I could have gotten my entry once I saw that the body closed above my VWAP, my 9 EMA, and my 21 EMA. I would have put my stop loss down here at about 223. I would have taken a long, I would have taken a long position. Once I saw this candle close, I would have taken my long position. And then guess what? Look at that. If you would have gotten somewhere right here is when the body, when the candle closed, about 225, 226 ish, you could have caught this move all the way up to, give or take, about 230, depending on what you bought and how much you bought of it. I mean, you could have, that was a beautiful play, and your stop loss was way down here. You see what I'm saying? So let me check out another one real quick. And then the same thing would be, in reverse. If I could find one, let's see, in reverse to the downside. Okay. So, again, same thing here. I can even go here now. I would say I don't really like these setups too much. Let me go look at the SPY. And that's what I'm saying. When you're looking at your entries, you want to make sure that you get your confirmations, your double confirmations. Okay, it broke above VWAP, it broke above the 9 EMA, and it broke above the 21 EMA, and it closed above all of those. So now I can take my position, whether it's to the upside or whether it's to the downside. Let me see if we can find one right here. Let's see. Let me see if I can find a really good entry on the downside. Okay, this one's kind of decent here. So, I mean, you figure we broke violently to the downside. So, again, this is measured by volume, so the volume didn't catch up there. But, I mean, once we started to break down here, once we started to close above, or should I say below, the VWAP and the 21 and the 9 EMA is where I would have gotten my entry. So right here is where I would have gotten my entry. Okay. Okay. So, I mean, again, like right here. Oh, shoot. Sorry. So right here. Okay. We broke, we came down violently. We kind of came back up a little bit. And then we started to reject off of the VWAP. And then this is where I would have gotten my entry. You see how the body, remember, like I said in the last few episodes, what the heck am I talking about? Last few videos, we broke below VWAP, we broke below the 9 EMA, and we broke below the 21 EMA. So what I would have done is I would have gotten my short position right there. It would have probably been somewhere right here because that's where it closed. It closed right there. So it would have been right there. I would have had my stop loss up here. And then you could have seen that we literally went from 650, 366 all the way down to 349. So I mean, if you're new to options trading, that's an insane move when you're playing options. I mean, that right there, depending on how much money you put on that, from there to there. I mean, if you were to put 10 grand, that's like literally like a $2,000 play, maybe even more. And then same thing with this one, again, back to the upside. I could have, we tried to come back up and then break back down. And then this candle right here, this is what they call a God candle. That's what this guy is. So you figure we broke above it. We broke above the VWAP. And then I would have gotten my entrance right here at 353.42. And then, the top of this candle was, 353. And, not a crazy move, like a $2 move. And then we kind of started to, sell off again. But that's how you get your entries and your exits. Like I said, VWAP is used, you're supposed to use that with your 9 and your 21 EMA. It's kind of like an extra confirmation, as you can see. Like I said, I use it all the time. That's how I get my entries. That's how I get my exits. And like I said, a lot of the times when you're scalping, it's quick, so you got to be prepared for that. And I think I've already said it before, but I'll say it again. If we're above the VWAP, we're bullish, and when we're below the VWAP, we're in a bearish trend. Okay, so again, if anybody has any questions, they can always ask me. Or if you want to send me a picture and say, hey, did I do this right? Did I, is this a good entry and this and that? And I will do my best to answer them. But like I said, for right now, I would just study these. I wouldn't, play with actual money. Just especially if you're new at this, just pretend. I mean, get your entry right there. Okay, cool. That would have worked out. Okay, cool. I broke above here. I'm going to get my entry. Cool. That would have worked out. You see what I'm saying? And you just keep doing that until you're comfortable with the charts. And then once you're comfortable enough with the charts, then you can actually go live and do it yourself. And like I said, we're going to be doing live trading. So, we're also going to help people there and, a better understanding if people have questions. But just in the meantime, these are the courses that I'm putting out. I'm going to be putting out a ton more and, just trying to help people, get better with the charts. Learn how the software works. We just launched the software today, so I'm going to be doing a course on that soon on how to navigate through that and stuff like that. So yeah, we will see you in the next one, and yeah, everybody have a good night. See you in the next